What's the news on the injuries, Russell? David Marshall and Aaron Gunnarsson.
David's still struggling a wee bit with that leg injury. What we're trying to avoid is any persistent long-term injury to it. So he remains a doubt. Aaron's fine. We've got one or two other niggles as well in the camp, but we'll know a little bit more later today.
So you won't consider David because there's a doubt, obviously.
There is a major doubt. I've not had a report from him medically today, but it was still requiring time yesterday. It's all about his kicking leg, Rob, and aggravating that muscle in and around the top of the leg, between that and the groin, which is getting aggravated a little bit. So probably needs a little bit more strengthening. There's a bit of bruising there.
Which means Simon Moore's likely to go back to face his old club?
Yes, there's a strong possibility of that as we speak.
Are you happy the way Simon is coping?
Yeah. He's been excellent every time he's been called upon to come into the side. I think he's performed with great credit.
Were you... The result was disappointing.
Yes.
Last week. But the performance better in your mind? Or?
Yeah, the performance was decent in terms of keeping a little bit more controlled possession. The only thing we didn't do is looking over it and analysing it is perhaps, even though we had the 18 shots, a lot of them were from distance and we didn't create enough opportunities inside the box. And then, of course, the two defensive lapses, which has been unusual in the last 7 or 8 games, where we've been markedly tight and resilient. So that was a little bit disappointing as well. Look, on reflection, we should have got something out of the game. We all know that, and it hurt. Saturday's result hurt us all because we felt we should have got something more out of it.
Brentford, you play them already, you know what they're capable of, and the one thing they do have is a goal threat from more than just the strikers. Yeah,
they do, and probably Rob at home play with even more freedom than what they do away from home. And I think they're in a situation now where, it's if they're going to get one of those slots in the playoffs, then they've got to go and win games. So I think it could be a very open game on Saturday.
They're really scoring a lot, aren't they? I think it's 11 in the last 3.
Yeah, they've got threats. Whether they play George and Pritchard, who I know an awful lot about. Well, quite a few of theirs have played in League One, as you know. Gray up front is a threat with his pace as well. Even Johnny Douglas, at his age, is still getting forward, and he's a big part of what they do, and he still nicks an odd goal for them also.
So you're expecting, obviously, a
very open game, very open contest, because I think they will come at us. So it's important that we deal with that, and we compact and we narrow and we solid, but at the same time we are a big threat ourselves going forward.
You've won the last 2 on the road. Are your players happier on the road these days than maybe at home, where there's a bit more pressure, maybe?
Well, certainly they're a bit happier away from home, because our away record was poor, and it's only starting to improve gradually now. We're just obviously, gone away from. What we've not done at home is we've not backed up those 2 away wins with a victory at home, which would have changed things dramatically for us, and that's where the disappointment perhaps lies at home.
And what about the likes of Pilkington and Mason? When are you hoping to bring them back into contention?
Yeah, no, good question. Dicker Choi as well falls into that bracket. Both of those have trained the last 3. Dicker Choi the last couple of days. Mace came in the back end of last week with a couple of light sessions and has trained this week. He's having a light day today because he's been loaded up most of the week. but he's making good progress. We'll be looking to try and get him some kind of game in the next 7 days. So we're pleased with that. And as I say, Dicker Choi's out there training again, probably about maybe 10 days behind Joe, in that he's been out longer, and that he won't be playing for any competitive football for still probably another 10 days or so, but we'll be looking for games for him as well. So both of those two making progress. Pilks is making progress as well, but he's not training with us yet, but he is out running.
And how much are you looking now towards next season? Because without taking anything for granted, it doesn't look as if you're going to make playoffs, and it doesn't look as if you're going to go down.
Yeah, Rob, I'm looking forward to seeing those three players, because I really haven't had Pilks at my disposal for probably only 4 or 5 games. The other two have not kicked a ball for me, so I mean, it's quite good news from my point of view to have two players of that calibre coming into the group. So it would be nice to see them play some football, even if one of the routes was away from here in terms of getting some football, but that may be too late. I don't know with the loan thing, but I'm thinking Dicker Choi more than anybody else out of those three. But it would be nice to have them back in, because it will give me a better picture of what we've got going forward before the summer.
Yeah, but are you sort of thinking now about what you might have for next season? I think
Rob, you're always thinking about. You've got to have your short-term objectives, but also you've got to have your long-term. You've got to keep an eye on that. You've got to have a mind of where you want to be and what you want and where you're going with what you want.
So I mean, it's up to the players to make themselves part of it for next season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Adam Lafondra's gone out on loan, and he seemed to be a little critical of the way it was handled. Can you give us your take on that?
Rob, I mean, I don't want to. I don't think it should have been something that was made public particularly, but I think the boys got a little bit confused. Let's just say that. I mean, I spoke to his representatives a long time before the Middlesbrough game, probably a week or two, where they were looking to see whether there was any possibility of maybe Adam going out and refreshing himself and going out on loan somewhere.
Was he keen to go?
Yes.
He was?
Yes. Well, it was me that got the phone call from his representative, but I don't want to comment any more on that.
As far as you're concerned, is he still part of your long-term?
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, the idea was to get him, as I say, refresh him, get some goals, get some football. With strikers, I think it is a real confidence thing, and if they can go somewhere else and be able to perform and get a little bit of form back, I think it's a good thing for him.
And the last one for me, how's the badge? What do you make of the new badge? The big bluebird, the little dragon?
Yeah, well, it seems to have gone down well. I mean, the poll I saw was well over 70% of fans were, am I about right there? Over 70% were well happy with the badge, and it looks well. It looks as if it will sit well, and obviously we'll have a new shirt to go with that, won't we, in the summer, which is quite exciting for the football club. So, all things are good on that front, I believe.
But you never thought you'd be asked for a badge, do you, when you got
No, I didn't. No.
That's welcome to Cardiff City, you should know by now. But the shirt, back to blue, the badge, sort of acceptable.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how to put this, but the negativity now appears to be towards you rather than Vincent Tan, because of, like the defeat last Saturday. A lot of us thought you played much better than you had done before, but I do a phone in and the fans were very critical. But do you feel now you're the one sort of taking any negativity? Or?
Well, whatever negativity comes your way, you have to deal with, Rob, don't you? It's part of a manager's job, day in and day out, and every weekend that you play on a Saturday afternoon. So you have to deal with that, and you have to. When you win a football match, everybody's all very happy, and when you lose a football match, people are looking to criticise, and obviously that's all part and parcel of it, and people are entitled to their opinion, aren't they? But look, as I said, we have to look at the short term and we have to look at the long term. I think we're moving in the right direction. I believe me, players think that as well, and that's the two most important elements. Is that we do feel we're getting better. Okay, I think our last 6 games have been 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2. There is an inconsistency there. There's no doubt about that. Of course, we would like to be more consistent. There's nothing more frustrating for a manager than inconsistency in his side. But I do think we're moving forward. I do think we're getting better. But I did say it's a transition, and I did say there'll be ups and downs, and I did say it'd be a process.